So, can we talk about trauma and especially trauma that you didn't realize that you had? Hello, everyone. I am Mel Charisse, and this is Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life Over 50. So, when I decided to do the work, right, and do some inner work on myself, I went to an island and I went to an island for almost 5 years, on and off. And it was a time that I was really, really, really just kind of working on myself and who I am and why I do the things that I am doing, and things like that. And when people say that the word trauma, in my mind, trauma is domestic abuse. Trauma is, your mom and dad, having some sort of, I don't know, outwardly, fights in front of you, or being mistreated as a child, or, any type of physical abuse or anything like that. Even verbal abuse, I do, I would think was trauma. But at the end of the day, when I looked back at my life, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I came from a middle class family. Yes, my parents were divorced, but my dad was still in my life. And, I don't have trauma. Well, when you decide to do the inner work on yourself and really learn your habits and your triggers and why things happen the way they do, why you respond to things the way that you do, you will realize that everyone has trauma. Even the smallest thing that happens to you in your life can be traumatic. And as a child, you might not realize that. So when I say my parents got divorced, yeah, they got divorced. And I do remember, there were days where, they would fight or something like that, which, all families I'm sure have. But I never looked at it as being traumatic in a sense where it would really shape who I am today. And when I look back at things like that, they do shape who I am today. They shape how I react to rejection. They shape how I react to the men in my life. They shape the way how I react to relationships. And, do I stick with them? Am I in it to win it? Or, at the first couple signs of something happens, I'm out like lightning. And it's amazing how when you really do work on yourself, that you realize that the traumas in your life have shaped who you are. And now at this age, it is my choice on if I'm going to allow that to continue to shape who I am in the next season of my life. And for me, I've decided not to have that happen. So, in other words, I know what my triggers are and I know how to see them, how to adjust them. I know how to handle relationships, whether it be relationships with my family or my friends or a partner or a significant other. I actually know how to handle, my team, because I'm a CEO and a boss of, a team. I know how to handle them. I know when other people are responding to me in certain ways, those are their traumas that they're dealing with. It's not my issue. There are things that are going on in their lives or things that they have not addressed in their lives that are making them react to me in a certain manner. But it's also up to me not to immediately take that personal and take it, to where I want to respond in a negative way or think badly of them. And I used to do that. And especially in times with like, my mom and, a lot of times, we buck heads because, we have different ways of thinking about things. And I've learned throughout my life that her reactions to things and the way that she responds that's her trauma from the past that she has not addressed. And it's not to say anything bad about her. It's just to let everyone know that you have to be cognizant of why people respond to you the way that they do and how you then react to them. All of that stems back from your life and how you were raised. Understand that before you are 7 years old, so like up until seven, everything that happens to you is like programmed into your subconscious. Of course, you don't know it because you're only 7 years old, but all of those programs condition you on how you react to life moving forward on up and into adulthood. And I think the wildest thing about this is when you realize that, how you can do better and how you can be better. And that's what we do. That's what I teach people, and that's what type of space I hold for people because going back into your childhood days and actually pulling all of that stuff out and realizing that you do have traumas there that have shaped who you are and how you operate, that's a huge awakening to allow you then to move past it and now be able to handle your life in a different way. And wouldn't it be nice and awesome to handle your life in a different way after 50? Because you actually realize that all of that conditioning is something that you can change. And now you can move forward and you can be a better person because you're doing the inner work, because you've realized that all of that conditioning came from the past. And now you are looking to rewire and rework your future, and it makes you feel so much better. It makes you feel so much more alive. It makes you feel so much more joyful. It makes you have so much more peace in your life when you realize that the things that are around you, the things that have happened to you, your traumas, because they are traumas, and I'm putting air quotes, just kind of being smart about it. But at the end of the day, understand that it's a real word and that everyone has them, even though we think that we don't. But once we come to realize that and we rework the narrative, you have then so much space for such a more impactful life, such a more better life, enjoyable life, and a peaceful life. So I am just here to tell you all that it is real. Trauma is real. And even if you are over 50 and you don't realize it till then, you still have the opportunity and you still have the chance to rewire your brain about it and to rework what has been ingrained in you for 50 plus years in order to live that life that you actually want to live. That life that you are living actually for you and not for somebody else, that life that you are actually planning and co-creating, and not one that somebody else said that you needed to live or a way that you had to be. Because when you do the inner work and you realize all of these conditionings and you rework them and rewire your brain, you become free. You become more authentic. You become the person that God actually put you on this planet to be, not the one that was conditioned because of your lineage, conditioned because of your family history, conditioned because of the world and everything that it says in the world that you are supposed to be, and the way that you're supposed to be, and the way that you're supposed to respond to things and not respond to things. It is an amazing, amazing opportunity to really, really, really be that person that you want to be, that person that has more peace, that person that has more joy in their life. And it's peace and joy because you have done the work on yourself and you know how to operate in this third world, which is a crazy world, as we know. But it will allow you then to have the next season of your life how you actually want it to be. So I am here to tell you that Over 50, it's possible to live the life that you want to live. And it's possible to understand that, yes, traumas have triggered or traumas have conditioned you to be the way that you are, but it doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that the things that have happened in your past do not have to then define your future once you realize that those were things in your past that you had no control over, and you've now taken the steps to work on yourself in order to move into the future in a new direction. So, I am Mel Charisse, and if you want to live your best life over 50, then change your lifestyle and you'll change your life. Until next week, see ya.